tonight, holdouts in Ottawa's Convoy protests vow to stay. Coastal GasLink under attack in northern BC.
A lot of it I'm focusing in on the women because, you know, in the Métis history and what we know, we hear a lot about the battles.
And a Métis artist remembers the past for the upcoming Louis Riel Day in Manitoba. Good evening, I'm Melissa Ridge and welcome to APTN National News. It appears the 22-day-old blockade of Ottawa's downtown core is coming to an end. Police made a strong show of force today, making multiple arrests and taking back the streets on a block-by-block basis. APTN's Fraser Needham was there.
What a difference 24 hours can make. As late as Thursday afternoon, Convoy protesters were ignoring police warnings to leave the city and hunkering down for what appeared to be the long haul. But that was not the case Friday. An integrated unit of RCMP, OPP, and Ottawa police moved in quickly at about noon. Police seemed to outnumber protesters, some of whom yelled obscenities and pushed against arrest. By mid-afternoon, police had made more than 70 arrests. Officers were seen with heavy guns and riot gear and on horseback, methodically pushing demonstrators into smaller and smaller areas. Earlier, 3 of the more visible leaders of the protests were arrested. Pat King, who APTN interviewed a couple of weeks ago, Tamara Leach, and Chris Barber. A dozen or so trucks were allowed to leave, but dozens remain still choking several downtown streets. Public Safety Minister Marco Mendicino said the changed atmosphere is proof that the Emergencies Act is working. Police have not set a timeline for when they plan to have the protesters leave Ottawa, and it may take several hours or even into the weekend before all the rigs are removed. Fraser Needham, APTN National News, Ottawa.
Well, keeping an eye on the capital, our Nation to Nation host Brett Forrester spent much of the day on the front lines there, and he joins us now for more. Brett, thanks for being here. How do you describe the situation on the grounds there?
Well, as you can see behind me at the main camp outside Parliament Hill, there's very little police action, and they're trying to keep on relatively as they were before. Much of the images that you saw before just happened to my left at the intersection between the Senate and the Chateau Laurier, where there was a tactical police operation, but they haven't yet moved up the road, so just behind me things are business as usual.
You know, the protesters had been warned multiple times about the risk of arrest. How did they react when it finally started happening?
Well, right on the front line, as you saw, there was a little bit of defiance, but there was also a little bit of confusion. The police left one route of egress right to the north towards Sussex, down towards the Prime Minister's house, actually, and some people took that route. But many others, including behind me, say that they won't leave until the vaccine mandates are lifted. They are extremely dedicated to their cause, and so we will have to see what happens. Police don't tend to like to do these tactical operations once the sun sets, so we may be in a bit of a holding pattern until tomorrow morning.
Yeah. You know, host of Nation to Nation, you're our guy on the Hill. You know, what do you expect the political ramifications of this whole thing to be?
Well, I expect there to be a lot of political fallout from this, and I expect it to be different for every single party. You know, there was supposed to be a debate about the emergency motion in the House of Commons today, and that was cancelled because of the police operation. But every single party isn't really going to be able to escape from this with a little bit of criticism. For the Liberals, they're taking a lot of fire for invoking the Emergencies Act. And on the other side of the aisle, the Conservative Party, the official opposition, they have a reputation as the party of the rule of law. They've been criticized pretty heavily for supporting these blockades and occupations that are now continuing into the third week. And meanwhile, the NDP is taking quite a bit of criticism for supporting the Liberals in their push to implement the Emergencies Act for the first time in its 34-year history. So I don't think anyone's really going to come away from this scot-free.
Well, we look forward to watching what happens when Parliament resumes sitting. Brett, thanks so much for joining us, and take care there.
Thanks.
Here's a shot from a little earlier in the day when cops began to move towards a line of protesters, and some protesters vowed to, quote, hold the line. Other protesters were heard singing "O Canada" near one of the police lines earlier today. Canada's Public Safety Minister delivered a message to the protesters who might be planning on staying a while in Ottawa. Leave now. Marco Mendicino says that police were at a turning point in their operation and credited the use of Emergencies Act in helping them to get there.
There will be transparency around this. There will be ongoing debates in the House of Commons. There will be a joint committee that is set up, and of course, a mandatory review. And it is our commitment as a government to be upfront with Canadians so that they can continue to have confidence that this is an important power that has been used sparingly, but in a manner that is judicious and responsible and consistent with the law.
The lawyer behind the class action lawsuit against the protesters now says that they will be coming after people who donated to the truckers.
Those who've been funding this unlawful occupation, this constant law breaking, this interfering with the lives and livelihoods of the people in Ottawa, we're going to be suing you. We think you're responsible for this because it wasn't simply donating to a cause. People can donate to a cause and are not necessarily responsible for what that group or organization does with it. But in this particular case, it's very clear that when people were donating from February 4th onward to Give, Send, Go and otherwise, they knew exactly what they were donating to, and they wanted the same objective. They wanted to pay these protesters to stay in Ottawa with their 18-wheel semi-trucks running 24 hours a day and blowing horns, to basically hold the downtown people hostage.
Well, we want to hear what you think about the ongoing Freedom Convoy drama. Here's how you can continue the conversation. Send your emails to news@aptn.ca. You can leave a comment on aptnnews.ca. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok. Follow APTN News and join the conversation and see all of our latest stories. We need to take a break, but first, as opioid deaths continue to grow in the Yukon, youth performers will soon be putting on a show called Crush the Crisis about addictions and mental health. Here's our reporter Sarah Connors with a sneak peek of that story for next week.
I'm not nervous, come on baby, I'm almost there.
It's music with a message. Young people in Whitehorse are raising awareness about the Yukon's opioid crisis, lending their voice to an issue that's devastating the territory.
Who else is doing something about it, And so if we could do a little part to make a big change, then that's what we're going to do.
I found my light at the end of the tunnel. I constantly struggle, which made me scared to be humble.
That's coming later on APTN National News.
Well, yesterday, violence erupted at a drill site at the center of the Wet'suwet'en pipeline dispute. Coastal GasLink alleges their workers were shaken in the attack near Houston, BC. The company says that masked people wreaked havoc with axes, causing millions of dollars in damage. APTN's Lee Wilson reports.
In a press release, Coastal GasLink alleges 20 individuals wearing masks and camouflage attack workers at a Maurice River drill pad site. It states attackers used axes to break windows and attempted to set fire to a vehicle while the workers still inside the vehicle. Photos from the company show damaged trailer buildings, heavy equipment damaged, and other vehicles flipped over. The company estimates millions of dollars in damages. The Coastal GasLink statement says the RCMP were notified and an investigation is underway. The protection of people and the environment is paramount, and we are taking a number of actions to address this incident. RCMP were called to the scene, and we understand a criminal investigation is underway. On behalf of our workers, we encourage a full investigation of those involved in the violent attack. Yesterday, the RCMP released a statement that when their officers arrived, they were attacked on the forestry road. At the 41-kilometer mark, the road was blocked by trees and fire. When officers cleared the debris, several people threw smoke bombs and sticks on fire at police, injuring one officer. This is a very troubling escalation in violent criminal activity that could have resulted in serious injury or death. This was a calculated and organized violent attack that left its victims shaken and a multi-million-dollar path of destruction. While we respect everyone's right to peacefully protest in Canada, we cannot tolerate this type of extreme violence and intimidation. Our investigators will work tirelessly to identify the culprits and hold them accountable for their actions. Individuals behind yesterday's attacks have not been identified. Wet'suwet'en hereditary chiefs remain opposed to the pipeline going through their territory. Last September, the conflict continued with blockades at the drill site as CGL prepared to pass part of the pipeline under the Maurice River. In November, RCMP enforced a Coastal GasLink BC Supreme Court injunction allowing CGL to operate in the area, which led to over 30 arrests. We reached out to Gidimt'en Access Point for a comment on the incident, but did not hear back before airtime. We will continue to follow this developing story. Lee Wilson, APTN National News, Kitimat.
A former foster child, now a grown mother herself, has filed a lawsuit against the Manitoba government and the Child Welfare Agency that allegedly left her unsupervised overnight in a downtown Winnipeg hotel room back in 1997. The lawsuit alleges the plaintiff was just 9 years old and was sexually assaulted by an older boy she was left alone with overnight. It goes on to say in the days that followed, several red flags that something had happened to the girl went ignored by social workers. She was also allegedly stripped and forced into a shower, the lawsuit claims. The now 33-year-old seeks unspecified damages for loss of past and present income, mental duress, legal fees, as well as punitive and exemplary damages. APTN is not naming the plaintiff. Neither the government nor West Region Child and Family Services have responded to the lawsuit that was filed on February 9th. To Saskatchewan, a longtime Federation of Sovereign Indigenous Nations senator has resigned, saying the FSIN has lost its way under the current leadership. APTN's Leanne Sanders reports.
After serving the Federation of Sovereign Indigenous Nations for 30 years, Senator Roland Crow has resigned. Crow advised in a letter that he will no longer be involved in any FSIN boards or commissions, saying the organization has lost all principles. Crow has cited a number of reasons for his resignation. He states there is a total disrespect of long-term women staff.
We look at how they've treated our women, and i.e. particularly single working parents, which are female. They've treated them absolutely terrible.
Crow also claims the FSIN has failed to protect treaty rights and states there is negligence of inherent and treaty rights protection, i.e. the sale of 1.5 million acres of lands, and the treaty commissioner and FSIN not protecting those lands.
The sale of 1.5 million acres of land that were promised to us in the 76 agreement and confirmed in the 1992 TLE agreement.
Crow alleges executive salaries are coming out of gaming profits. He states executive salaries should not be paid from gaming profits. These funds should be going to our bands.
Those monies were supposed to be left for our communities, both on and off reserve, not to subsidize or to have salaries come out of there. Our people in our communities need that money more than the elite of the elite.
Crow says another agreement between the provincial government and the FSIN is also troubling, and states there is an agreement with the province of Saskatchewan to allow game wardens to come onto our reserves and check our freezers for wild game.
Allowing game wardens to come onto our reserves, into our homes, and search fridges and deep freezes for wild game meat. That is just absolutely beyond my comprehension.
APTN has reached out to the FSIN for comment, but we had not received one by our deadline. FSIN Chief Bobby Cameron was elected to his third term as Chief of the FSIN last October. Leanne Sanders, APTN National News, Saskatoon.
We need to take another break, but coming up, a Métis artist on celebrating Louis Riel Day.
Something I can't even say, you know, because I remember painting murals when I was 3 and getting into trouble because they were on people's walls. So it's always been something that's been there.
Welcome back. It's time now for our photo of the day. Our viewer Matthew Louis, a proud member of the Cowichan tribe, tells us that he's living that urban Vancouver life, and this is his view from his patio 2 days ago. Thanks for letting us enjoy that view too, Matthew. Keep those pictures coming. You can send them to share at aptn.ca, and then you tune in every day to see if you are our next photo of the day. Let's take a look now at tomorrow's weather forecast. To the east coast, we got -4 and snow for Fredericton, 10 and cloud for St. John's. La Grande River -23 and sunny, sunshine for Kuujjuaq -24. Sept-Îles, snow and -10, same with Quebec City. -9 and snow for Ottawa, -15 and sunshine for North Bay. Kapuskasing, snow, -18 degrees, -10 in Thunder Bay, snow there. Pucketchewaga -23 and cloudy, 26 and sunshine for Churchill. -23 and snow for Winnipeg Dauphin, -2 snowing there. 0 and sunny skies for Swift Current, -18 and sunny for Yorkton. -15 and snow for Buffalo Narrows, sunshine, -27 for Uranium City. Snow and -6 for Grand Prairie, -22 and sunny for Fort Chip. 10 and sunshine for Lethbridge, 8 and cloud for Medicine Hat. Penticton, cloudy and 7 degrees, sunshine, and 9 for Victoria. 3 and snow for Prince George, -14 and snow for Fort Nelson. Whitehorse -3 and snow. Mayo -14, snowing there too. Wrigley, you're also getting snow, -21, same with you, Norman Wells. Inuvik -26 and clear skies. Paulatuck -24 and clear. Sunshine for Baker Lake, -34. Arvit and Whale Cove, both -35, sunny skies. Pangertung, -31 and sunny. Kenite, snow, -24. Monday is Louis Riel Day here in Manitoba and a day off across the country. To mark the occasion, here's a story on a Métis artist that uses her work to celebrate her heritage.
Well, as far as starting, you know, it's kind of something I can't even say, you know, because I remember painting murals when I was 3 and getting into trouble because they were on people's walls. So it's always been something that's been there.
Tracy Charette-Fair says she has always been an artist, but what started out as a hobby has now turned into a tribute to her heritage. The Métis artist recently featured an exhibit celebrating Métis women at the Winnipeg Art Gallery in 2021. Her exhibit, Heartbeat of a Nation, was a celebration of more than 250 years of Métis women.
And a lot of it I'm focusing in on the women because, you know, in the Métis history and what we know, we hear a lot about the battles, you know, of course, the important, you know, battles of Batoche, the Métis resistance, Louis Riel, Gabriel Dumont, but nobody talks about the women. And they work side by side, you know, and they were involved in Batoche. But they're the ones that link us through kinship and through our bloodline. And, you know, I really feel that that we have not been given the due that we should have. And that line, you know, connects us to our First Nations history, our grandmother, you know. So to me, it's really important that the women be honored and recognized.
She traced her grandmother's Métis heritage back to 1770. 2020 marked 250 years, so she made 250 clay wood-smoked bowls. The bowls represent, in her words, the domestication of the women who birthed the Métis Nation.
I wanted to recognize women, so I'd make 250 bowls representing 250 years and give them to 250 women, basically. What I am hoping for from those women is I want them to give me the name of a Métis woman that they want to recognize. Anyone. It doesn't have to be someone well known. It could be their grandmother or somebody. And then I'm going to take those and turn them into a textile tapestry.
The exhibit also features tapestry from her family's history and pays homage to her aunties.
I always knew that I was Métis, like we did, but there was such a bad, because there was so much stigma and so much racism, and in the community where my family came from, and I was there too only for the first 6 years of my life, and my mom passed away when I was 6, and so there was this cut from our community and from that part of my family. So this is a reconnection. I reconnected with my aunts quite a long time ago, but hearing their stories and really, you know, it's really given me much more sense of who I am.
Tracy says she will be giving the bowls out between June and August and will start making textile artwork in September. She's also completing her master's degree in fine arts. With all the learning, artwork, and tracing family history, she says she's rediscovered herself.
It's a rediscovery. I think that's what I would call it. It's a rediscovery. It's a resurgence for me of the Métis culture, and not just culture, it's the identity and like who are we, and you know, why do I feel compelled to even talk about it? Because for years people told me not to talk about it. They said, you don't look Métis, why would you even talk about it? You know, there was a real, and then realizing this is all part of the colonial system, you know, it's part of this attitude that's been around for so long, is to silence you.
Love her. Well, the Toronto Zoo has welcomed 3 adorable cheetah cubs. The zoo announced the mother, Amara, gave birth in late January after a 92-day pregnancy. One cub did not survive, but the remaining 3 appear to be doing well. The zoo says they'll keep a close eye on Amara and her cubs with cameras to minimize disturbances and allow the animals to bond. Cheetah cubs are born with their eyes closed, so the little eyes should be opening up anytime now. We are all out of time for your news to wrap up the work week. I'm Melissa Ridgen. I'll see you back here tomorrow with your weekend news. Don't forget you should have the APTN News app on your phone to stay right up to the minute with Indigenous news from across the country. And if you've missed anything this week, you can go check out our website and catch up, aptnnews.ca. Till then, tomorrow, have a great night.